All right, so here, peep, what's going on? We are going to watch Gutfeld, one of the show. I think it was Friday, I believe, or Thursday, or something like that. Let's get going.
You're right. You're right. It's Friday, so you know what that means. Let's welcome tonight's guest. He gets a sunburn watching Baywatch. Fox News contributor Tom Shalhoub.
Look at his hair. Tom Shalhoub, he's one of the writer. He's always like,
He was a White House intern under Bush, and that's the only time he ever saw one. Host of the Guy Benson Show, Guy Benson.
you know what that means? It's because, he's gay. He's married to a man.
He's hoping to hear something tonight that he's never heard before. Oh. Applause. Canadian Chris Stefano.
Yeah.
And like all former cheerleaders, she has a restraining order against me. Co-host of Outnumbered, Emily Capano. All right. Before we get to some news stories, let's do this. Yeah.
Greg's Leftovers.
Here we go. Yeah. It's Leftovers, where I read the jokes we didn't use this week, and as always, it's my first time reading them. So if they suck, we'll make Joe Mackey hand wash Maxine Waters' wig. All right,
Joe Mackey's actually in there, one of the panel, and he's the writer for Gutfeld. So that's pretty funny.
Trump swapped out the Resolute desk in the Oval Office just days after Elon Musk's son appeared to wipe a booger on it.
I saw that one.
Well, it could have been worse, said one man.
That's right. Yeah. The Democrats seem to forget what he did in this Resolute desk.
Researchers say narcissists have a higher likelihood of being ignored by others. You know, for months, Jesse Waters was telling everybody this, but nobody listened. The regional airline that operated the Delta flight that flipped over on a Canada runway had recently bragged about having man-free flight crews.
Oh, yeah. They do have that commercial about, they called it Unmanned or something like that. That now it flipped over. But then again, it happens. I think it's just a coincidence.
In other words, I think we're all surprised they actually made it to the runway.
A sexist would say.
Do we really need that anymore?
Not really.
Republican Mitch McConnell announced that he won't run for re-election. Is it because he's old, feeble, or out of touch? No, he just wants to spend more time with his family. According to a new survey, nearly 10% of U.S. adults identify as LGBTQ. The other 90% identify as who gives a Yeah. A nonprofit is asking social media users to help name a remarkably rotund beaver. Wow. People willing to participate should send their suggestions to Person with a Large Beaver, care of Anna Navarro. Oh, my God. Oh. Dang. She loves pets.
Wow. Okay.
Divorce rumors continue to escalate for the Obamas. Hopefully they can settle it like men. Terrible that you would applaud that. After Canada beat the U.S. last night in hockey, Justin Trudeau gleefully mocked the U.S. Then he went home and posted his resume on ZipRecruiter.
Yeah.
Democrat consultant James Carville said Stephen A. Smith doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. Yeah. Carville should know a hole in the ground is where he lays his eggs. Because he's a lizard. Lizards lay eggs, don't they? Who cares? Actress Cynthia Erivo, there she is, has joined the Hollywood Bowl's production of Jesus Christ Superstar, in which she will be playing the title character, Jesus Christ.
What?
In a related casting note, the Virgin Mary will be played by this actor. Doge, otherwise known as the Department of Government Efficiency, has revealed that $1.9 billion in HUD money has been misplaced during the Biden administration. No one is sure where it went, but that could explain the bulge in Rachel Levine's skirt. Finally, scientists have developed a drone that can smell. A drone that smells? Don't we have that already?
Oh. Yeah.
Oh.
They're friends.
You hate him. So here we go. I wonder if our culture sends a message to young men that you should suppress every masculine urge.
I think that our culture sends a message to young men that you should suppress every masculine urge. You should try to cast aside your family. You should try to suppress what makes you a young man in the first place. And I think that my message to young men is don't allow this broken culture to send you a message that you're a bad person because you're a man, because you like to tell a joke, because you like to have a beer with your friends, or because you're competitive.
So there you go. JD has a message for young men. It's okay to be young men. It's different than the Lincoln Project's message for young men, which is, this will be our little secret. But what Vance is speaking out against is the idea of toxic masculinity, or as yours truly calls it, my core values. It's not enough to scold men for doing bad things. Libs now scold men for doing anything. It's a cultural message. And I bet the president in JD's is the exact opposite.
The cultural message, and I think the president's and mine is the exact opposite, but our cultural message is, I think that it wants to turn everybody, whether male or female, into androgynous idiots who think the same, talk the same, and act the same. We actually think God made male and female for a purpose. And we want you guys to thrive as young men and as young women, and we're going to help with our public policy to make it possible to do that.
But imagine Kamala Harris trying to put that many coherent sentences in order. To think she was one dead life alert battery away from the presidency.
Oh my goodness.
But Vance is drawing a distinction between the Democrats' embrace of victimhood and identity and the Republicans' embrace of strength and action. I mean, what's more awesome than a frickin' chainsaw?
Yeah. That's Elon Musk with a chainsaw. Oh.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy.
It's pretty good,
Argentina.
pretty cool, but you got to wonder how he got that past the Secret Service.
Yeah, right?
The chainsaw and the hair. But talk about acting like a guy, you know, Musk fiercely waving the chainsaw in the air. And why not celebrate with power tools?
Well, to be fair, that's it looks like it's fake, you know, but still, you know, they got the point. This is a Doge chainsaw.
Hell, after I became the king of late night, I fired a nail gun into the air. But I can't say anymore because then the widows will ask for more money. But that's what Vance, Musk, RFK Jr., and Trump's Merry Pirate Ship are doing. They're making masculinity great again. Think about it. What's the most masculine thing a guy can do? Post his mugshot in his office so everyone can see it.
This is so cool about Trump. You know, it's like his opposition, you know, the media, you know, they tried to portray this mugshot as a negative thing that ever happened. You know, now, you know, you see that on all over the place. Even Trump posted right in the hallway there, so everyone can see. It's funny as heck. Funny.
Including those who thought it would hurt him.
Yeah.
Trump took the critical attacks on him and he turned it around.
Yeah, he did.
What does that remind you of? An action hero disarming the attacker, taking their gun and pointing it back at them. But if you look at all of Trump's moves, from the mugshot to raising his fist after getting shot at, it's an action movie that every guy wants to see.
Yeah, like Die Hard.
And it's the kind with lots of funny stuff in between. It's Die Hard. It's Lethal Weapon. It's Thelma and Louise without those chatty broads. As Scott Adams points out, the Trump movie projects optimism, energy, humor, strength, and risk, where people come together and there's a potential for greatness.
Yeah.
And it's way preferable to steal magnolias.
Yeah, I've seen that one time. It looks like Sally Field, Dolly Parton's in there. Daryl Hannah, Olympia Dukakis, Shirley MacLaine, and Julia Roberts. Yeah, if you have not seen that movie, go see it. I mean, it was all right.
Which I never saw.
Yeah, you did.
Trump's delivering what Hollywood decided was toxic, and now he's doing the movies that they won't. Meanwhile, compare that to the Dems, whose message is, we're weak and sad and we need help.
Yeah.
While they focus on things that have nothing to do with reality, just made-up panics. It reminds me of every scene in a disaster movie where one character is freaking out and the hero has to slap him across the face. Better yet, the Dems are that lady in Airplane falling apart. Remember that?
Oh,
Can you guess who
yeah,
the
I remember
Republicans
that.
are?
The funny Airplane.
I've got to get out of here. Down. Get a hold of yourself.
Stewardess, please let me handle this.
I've got to get
Calm down now. Get back to your seat. I'll take care of this. Calm down. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Doctor, you're one on the phone.
Oh, Leslie Nielsen.
Everything's been...
Even a nun.
Sister, please, I'll handle this.
I've got to get out of here.
Oh, that lady with the handgun. Oh, man, that's so funny.
It's funny, because in 2024, it's kind of true. The Dems are pulling their hair out while the Republicans are trying to slap some sense into them.
Yep.
And the Democratic Party has been nothing but a matrix churning out hoaxes.
Yeah.
And who roots for the bureaucrats anyway, especially those driven by fiction? You remember the classic film Dirty Harry? It focused on a heroic
remember
cop
that.
who takes no BS
Oh, yeah.
and bends the rules for justice.
There's no good cop
Imagine
there.
if they'd taken
Bad
the
cop, good
perspective
cop.
of the bureaucrat that was trying to stop him instead. No one would see that movie, just like no one sees the
wouldn't be cool then.
Democrats. Except, let's face it, miserable women. They love melodrama and fiction, and the Dems are providing both.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, everyone else is lining up around the block for the Trump movie. It makes me wish I'd bought stock in popcorn.
All right, who do you got there? Oh yeah, the Guy Benson that comes to a companion, and I don't remember this guy's name again. But all right,
Tom, you're in a constant search for your masculinity. What do you make of JD Vance's words at CPAC and how there seems to be a vibe shift changing?
Absolutely. I love JD Vance. I mean, if he's watching, JD, I want to be your friend. I want to hang out with you after school.
That is creepy.
But I wish the greatest thing about this was when he started his diatribe, people started applauding right at the beginning because they knew where he was going. And I wish that, they're applauding. I wish he took it too far, because that would have been so awesome if he was like, you should not get in trouble, men, for having a beer or telling a joke or killing an elk with your shotgun and then gutting it and letting the guts spill out onto your boots. And taking its heart out and biting it and letting the blood drip down your beard.
Wow.
And howling at the moon. And they're like, when's this going to end? But listen, I love this. And it is actually, we joke about it, but it's very important. And, this whole toxic masculinity thing as a narrative, it was so harmful, not because it hurt guys' feelings. The feminists would say, oh, toxic masculinity, your male feelings are hurt. It wasn't about the feelings. The guys got over it. But what they did was they withdrew from society. They stopped. They were like, corporate America, I don't need to do that. Forget it. I don't want to be a part of that nonsense. I don't want to go to college. It's a girl thing now. They don't want to go to college. They are just retreating into their own thing. And they're like, they're doing, they're doing farming and they're like living off the land. They don't want to do any of this stuff. So that's the sad thing about it.
That's an interesting point. I didn't connect all of that together. Well done for you, conspiracy freak. Guy, He is right though. It's kind of like men aren't. They don't care if their feelings hurt, but they just don't. They find a place that they don't feel at home at. Why would you be at a place that's inhospitable? And that's what I think is happening with the Democratic Party. It's inhospitable to men.
First of all, I just have to point out just the elephant in the room. This is the third straight day Emily's been here, which is awesome. Does that mean that Kat Tim finally had her pregnancy hoax exposed? Because I heard, I don't know if this is true, I heard that a basketball fell out of her shirt during commercial break in America's Newsroom. Janine Pirro arrested her on the spot.
We haven't heard
Justice delayed is justice denied.
Yes, yes. We'll be looking into that shortly, Guy, but thank you for bringing that up.
You're welcome. I had to. But back to the men. I have been called mask many times, so I feel like I'm an authority perhaps on the subject. One thing that was interesting, the chainsaw moment. I had a liberal friend of mine text it to me. Just said, don't you find this horrifying? Just like, it should be self-evidently horrible. And I just stared at my phone. I was like, and I responded, no.
Yeah.
Right, you've got a foreign leader coming in who's been very successful at gutting wasteful government in his country, in Argentina, giving a fun, cool chainsaw to our guy doing that, and everyone cheering. It's like actually kind of fun and awesome.
Yeah.
And I feel like the hand-wringing about how terrible the optics are is a distillation of the problem the left has with men right now. Because I think a lot of dudes and probably some women look at that and say, cool, that's fun. Let's do more of that.
Yeah, and it is true that they get hung up on the surface level imagery, the words, but not the deeds. Chris, welcome back to the show. I've missed you.
Thank you. I haven't been here in a year.
I know.
And I was just upset about it because I am the self-proclaimed leader of your fan group, the Gut Sluts.
Yes, that's right.
And I'm a proud gut slut. I had merch made up. I thought we were going to make a website.
Yes.
And then I couldn't get back on the show. I was emailing. And now Kash Patel is going to be sending you an email. We're going to arrest you.
Yeah,
that's what it is, dude. You're not having me on.
I was gut slut shaming.
Yes, and I felt it.
Yes. Do you feel like you're kind of like either living in a movie? It feels like there's a narrative, like there's like an action going on. We're like in the third act of this Trump movie.
Listen, it's one of those things where here's what I feel like. I'm very thankful. I grew up like deep in New York City. I'm very thankful, Brooklyn. I'm thankful to have been punched in the face when I was a kid because like I now know, like I've been hit, you know, like everyone was like running around, running their mouth. And now it's like they've been saying these things for years and now society's like, shut up.
Yeah.
Stop saying you're stupid. Well, I've never stood by anything I believed in ever because I've just been knocked unconscious so many times in my life. So for me, and honestly, the chainsaw thing was interesting for me because I grew up in Ridgewood and there's a lot of Albanians there. And I remember one time we got into a fight on the basketball court and the Albanian kids came back with chainsaws. So I was like, oh, I didn't know Elon was Albanian. and so it just was a little PTSD, but I think it's all cool. And I wish he would have just taken the chainsaw and cut that guy's hair clean off. It's horrible.
Yes. Emily, as a woman, I think that the Democrats underestimated the disdain a lot of women would have for the disdain for men in their party, because women are married to men. Some women are. Some women aren't. I don't know why I looked at you. I think it's because you're my stand-in for a lesbian.
I thought that was Ellen.
Yes, it is Ellen. Yes. It's Ellen after It's Ellen after a series of treatments. I think it is shrinking, though. I hope.
Yes.
Can the Democrats attract men back into this party? How do they do it?
I don't think they can at all, because we just watched for 4 years as every male was neutered. We saw a chapter of castration occur. And worse, I think, is they were tried to be canceled for even daring to be masculine. I mean, we saw Daniel Penny prosecuted. Yeah. Like, that went so far, in my opinion, as to be irretrievable. And I'm glad about that, because the reality is, as people like Pete Buttigieg say, oh, this is what has created Trump Republicans. I take such issue with that term because it just means the majority of America. It just means those that subscribe to common sense. You're right that what women need first and foremost, what they yearn for in their male partner is security. And many confuse that with financial security. Nope, just security and all that term defines and represents. And you're not going to get security from a bald guy with red lips stealing your suitcase and wearing your dresses. You're not going to get security from someone that doesn't wave a chainsaw around on stage. So I loved it because it harkened back to me for the best movie of all time, which was Summer School. Remember Chainsaw? Second only, I guess, to Steel Magnolias, because my colors at my wedding were blush and bashful. But the bottom line is, it also symbolized something much deeper, which was, to your point, the leader of Argentina saying, hell yes, me too. Not the Me Too coming out of Hollywood, the Me Too of like, bureaucracy is old. We're gonna destroy it. We're gonna absolutely obliterate that latent comfort that everyone has been wallowing in with our tax dollars. So I thought it was beautiful, man. Sweep the globe. Wildfire.
Right, sweep the globe.
Sweep it.
What is it with women always wanting to sweep things? Can't take the broom out of the woman's hand. What are you going to do? Up next, LA is out of luck as Karen passes the buck.
Pretty funny. Pretty funny. All right. Well, that's it for now. Until next time.